Hello, beautiful people. Today is 19th of July. My name is Sahil and welcome to Newspaper Analysis. Friends, today we'll take a quote from B.R. Ambedkar. He says that democracy is not merely a form of government, it is essentially an attitude of respect and reverence towards fellow men. So, guys, this particular quote points out as how the political democracy and social democracy are not distinct. The successful working of the political democracy depends on to the social inclusion, social harmony, as well as onto the value of fraternity, which has also been emphasized into the preamble of the Indian Constitution. So, guys, this particular quote we can use into the questions on GS paper number 1, social harmony, as well as onto the GS paper number 2, social justice, along with the topics onto the essay. Now, friends, the main question that I gave you yesterday. So, the question asks that Iran's dropping of India from Zahedan Railway is a setback, but it also points to Iran's changing priority as well as some important takeaways for India. Now, guys, as I tell you every day, that your answer needs to be divided in three parts: intro, body, and conclusion. Now, first of all, guys, there are very clearly we can see two parts. First of all, the Iran's changing priority and lessons for the India. Now, into the introduction, you can give the background of the Chabahar project and its economic, geographic, as well as strategic importance. And briefly, in one line, you can tell that how India has been dropped. After that, guys, you'll just be jumping into the body, and there you will be dividing your body in two parts. First, Iran centric, and other is the India centric. Now, here we will be writing the reservations of Iran. Number one, we had seen that USA has pulled out of the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, due to which USA has threatened to impose the sanctions onto the Iran. And at this critical juncture, Iran can't afford the isolation from the world. Therefore, as a strategic bid, Iran is moving towards the China, because China has a veto power into the United Nations Security Council, and any action by USA against the Iran can be avoided by the help of the China. Secondly, guys, China has very deep pockets and have the investable capital by the new development bank as well as Belt and Road Initiative, and therefore Iran will get the access to the China's deep pockets, by which it can bring the economic welfare for their own country. Thirdly, there is a strategic angle. Into the recent times, there is a much rising anger against the USA due to the USA's aggressionist policies towards the Iran, and just as a part of arm twisting, the Iran is also going again with the China. So these are the points, but guys, here one point we will also put, that the changing priorities of Iran are not specifically directed against the India, because it was a strategic necessity and not a choice. Guys, please use these keywords, they make an impression. Now, guys, with respect to the India, what the lessons we learn? So we learn that neighborhood should not be treated as ease, rather it should be treated at urgency. And guys, in such line, India is having large number of connectivity projects with the neighborhood such as Nepal, Bangladesh, Bhutan, and on that line we should take a lesson and should be very much steadfast. Moreover, guys, with respect to the Sri Lanka, Myanmar, all the incompleted projects should be taken up at urgent as possible. And the ultimate conclusion will be there, that still the battle has not been lost, and because of the tolerant policies of India, there is still a chance that India can join. Even the Iran has shown the approval in that direction. So that's it, and I know if you have attended the yesterday's discussion, you might not have found any problem in writing this answer. So guys, now let's take up the newspaper analysis. Now, guys, first of all, let's take the overview of the entire paper first. So, guys, here we can see that the pandemic had left the Uttarakhand's pilgrimage industry impacted, because, as we know, that the Uttarakhand receives a large number of people who come for the Kawad Yatra into this particular month. They are not able to come due to the social distancing norms. We know that as people will not be coming, there will be no sales of the eateries, no sale of the local shop owners, but it is a kind of a dilemma that either economy or health we can save. So guys, it is a kind of a problem. However, nothing substantial into the news have been given. Then guys, moving forward, now friends, here the Malabar Australia has been mentioned. Guys, today excellently, by the excuse of this article, we will see the security situation of entire Asia Pacific, and I believe that after reading this coverage you need not to read anything onto the Asia Pacific security situation. Then guys, the Kurma app has been mentioned. We'll see certain good attachment with respect to the exam. Then moving forward onto the city page, we can see that nothing important has been given. The same thing continues. However, here the one stop scheme has been mentioned. We'll see how we can use it into the exam, into our paper. Guys, moving forward, we can see that only the regional news has been mentioned, which is not important for our exam. However, here we can see that Maharashtra will be using the drones to inspect the power lines. So we'll see how into the infrastructure section GS3 we can use this particular news. Then guys, moving forward, again you can see that the news related to the COVID conflict etc has been given, not important for our exam. Guys, again the COVID number, COVID digits, not important for your exam because nothing substantial can be asked. Guys, onto the world page also, the Iran is seeing the second wave and all these kind of things are not important. Then business page also, it contains the corporate news and such kind of news, not important for our exam. Then guys, science and tech today's highlight. First of all, we will here be seeing the solar orbiter mission, the coronal mystery etc. Very good article will be covering by the help of this. Secondly guys, alarming India's poor against the pandemic, will be seeing this thing. Now a question develops that are the news with respect to the COVID-19 are important. Guys, as far nothing concrete will come from the side of WHO or from the side of government, it is not important because all such kind of studies will be coming every day. You can't see them, and the question on UPSC is also not expected. Then guys, the Himalayan faults have been mentioned, we'll be covering it. Then guys, further, the Chabahar rail project has been mentioned yesterday. We had covered the entire coverage, you can refer to that. Then guys, the plea bargaining has been discussed, we'll be doing this thing what has been mentioned. Then guys, the CBSC, we had discussed this entire issue already. Then the Padmanath Swami temple has been mentioned here guys. After that, moving forward onto the sports page, you can see that nothing important has been given and then classified. So guys, that's it, and now let's take the newspaper analysis in detail. Now, starting up, friends, here we will see a wider strategic dimension going on into the Indo Pacific region. But first of all, coming to the news, here it has been said that government is now deciding to bring Australia into the Malabar group. So, guys, first of all, the basics. So, first of all, the Malabar is a naval exercise which is right now being conducted between three countries, that is India, USA, and Japan. However, it started in 1992, but at that point of time it was between two countries only, that is India and USA. So it went till 1998, but after the Pokhran second nuclear test it was suspended and was again started in 2002 after the 9/11 attacks into the USA. After that, Japan was added in 2015, and since 2017, Australia wants an observer status into the Malabar exercise. And guys, since that particular time, India was apprehensive to add the Australia because India was concerned with the sensitivities of the China. But as you know, right now the tensions into the LAC is going on. So now India is actively considering that finally Australia should be given a participation into the Malabar group. So, guys, what the implications here? First of all, this particular step will lead to the militarization of the Quad, which is already going on between India, Japan, Australia, and USA. Guys, up to now, the Quad or the Quadrilateral Security Dialogue was a strategic forum where the four countries were coming together, and from very start the China has been apprehensive of the Quad, as China thinks that it is against the China. And up till now India respected the sensitivities of China, but now including Australia into the Malabar means nothing but the militarization of the four countries together. Now coming to even more bigger picture, guys, along with this, recently India and Australia also signed the mutual logistic support agreement by which both the countries will be able to use each other's military bases. So here also we can see that the capacities are being enhanced. And now guys, on to the sideline, India is also enhancing the cooperation with the USA. First of all, see, there are four foundational agreements that USA signs with any country in order to give the full military accessibility. So, out of these four agreements, the three agreements India had already signed, that is the General Security of Military Information Agreement, which is the most basic one to start any military cooperation. After that, there is the Logistics Exchange Memorandum of Agreement, by which both the countries can use each other's military infrastructure, their military facilities, for the purpose of refueling and all that kind of thing. After that, the third one is the COMCASA, which means the Communication Compatibility and Security Agreement. Now, this particular agreement is essential if India wants to acquire the high tech communication technology from the USA. And guys, the final into this line is the BECA, that is the Basic Exchange and Cooperation Agreement for Geospatial Cooperation. Now, by this particular agreement, India will be able to receive the aeronautical data and the topographical data by which the navigation and targeting of the enemies will be very much effective. But guys, there is also a problem into the BECA, that by this the India also needs to share a lot of strategic information with the USA. And as India is procuring a weaponry from the Russia, in a way it means that Russia's weapon secrets might go to the USA, and therefore there is also a friction with respect to the BECA. But however, out of four, the three have already been signed. So USA has also inclined towards the India. I will give you one more extra point, guys. See, USA maintains the US Pacific Command into the Pacific region to ensure the security. But the Pacific Command has also been renamed as Indo-PACOM, that is Indo-Pacific Command, which shows that how much India is important for the USA. So, guys, this entire arrangement is an endeavor to control or to arm twist China so that the unilateralism of China can be controlled. And here you can see that inclusion of Australia into the Malabar is just a part of a bigger strategy. So, guys, that's it about the Indo Pacific security situation. And I'll suggest that please don't read anything apart from this, because any length question you could be justified by writing the content. So guys, that's it. Now we'll move to next. Now here we can see that the Kurma mobile app has been launched. Now guys, before going into the details of this particular app, first of all, a very basic question but important for the ecology prelims. What is the basic difference between the turtle versus the tortoise? So first of all, what is the commonality between them? So guys, both of them belong to the testudines, which means a creature with a bony or a shell-like structure. However, it doesn't mean that both are same. So guys, there are substantial difference between them, and the difference are at the two level. Number one is the difference with respect to their behavior, and the second is the difference with respect to their anatomy. So guys, first behavioral difference is that, see, tortoise, they are majorly the land dwelling animals and they don't spend the substantial time into the water, whereas a turtle are majorly the water dwelling animals. Rarely they come to the land. Usually they only come into the land when they need to lay the eggs. And guys, because of this behavior to live on land vis-a-vis water, there are the anatomical or their bodily differences also. So if you will see the structure of tortoise, then the hump or this shell is more bulging, more protruding, so that a greater degree of safety can be given from the predators onto the land, whereas the this shell of the turtle is more flat so that it can float and swim easily. After that, see, the structure of the legs of the tortoise are more boxy, more heavy, and they are more elephantine so that they can support the heavier weight of the shell as well as its body. but at the same time the legs of the turtle, they are more flappy because they don't need to carry the weight. Rather, the flappiness gives them ease in floating into the water. After that, one more difference, guys, tortoise, they are a long living animals and they can live 100 to 150 years, whereas a turtle's lifespan is just 30 to 40 years, though it can vary, but relatively they have short, they have longer lifespan. And guys, finally, with respect to the dietary behavior, turtles are usually omnivorous, whereas tortoise are usually herbivorous. However, exception can be there also. It depends on to the species to species. So first of all, this was the difference between both of them. Now, the Kurma mobile app has been announced. It was announced earlier on to May 23rd, which is the World Turtle Conservation Day. So, the mobile app has been developed by the ITCAN, that is Indian Turtle Conservation Action Network, along with the Turtle Survival Alliance and the Wildlife Conservation Societies of India. Now, guys, first of all, the Turtle Survival Alliance is most important one because it is a global initiative which brings the agencies involved in turtle conservation together. So guys, it brings together the NGOs, the zoos, and all such agencies. And in India also, it maintains the Indian Turtle Conservation Program. Now guys, using the Kurma app, the people can identify a particular species of a turtle and can report them to the rescue centers, which will also be listed onto the app. Now guys, the problem with the turtle conservation is this. See, there are different categories of turtles which enjoy the different levels of protection. First of all, under the sites there are large number of species whose export is completely banned, but simply the enforcement agencies are not identify or differentiate the species which are banned. So all their information will be listed here onto this particular app, due to which the enforcement will be very much effective. Now guys, even the report by the traffic says that every week more than 200 turtles are smuggled. So by this particular app, the conservation will be very much effective. So guys, that's all about this entire initiative and the difference between turtle versus tortoise. However, from time to time there are various species of turtles which are into the news, and whenever they are, we do take them. So please keep that also in your mind. So that's it. Now we'll move to next. Now, here we can take a quick reference for the topic of economic liberalization related initiatives, GS3. So, here, guys, the one stop scheme has been announced by the Rajasthan government, where the 98 types of clearances will be given under a single roof. And this particular thing will fast track the investments, which is right now most needed into the aftermath of pandemic of COVID-19. Further, guys, this particular thing will also be starting a new wave of competitive federalism, because learning from the Rajasthan, other state governments will also be going forward in this particular direction. Now, you do not need to go into so much of tiny details, but guys, all the investment proposals which are more than 10 crore rupees, they are eligible, that they can get the clearances under the single roof by the Bureau of Investment Promotion in Rajasthan. Moreover, under the BIP, 14 major departments have been brought. So, it is also an example of the convergence which will further enhance the ease of doing business. So, guys, that's all about this particular issue. You can use it as an example. And now we'll move to next. Further, guys, here one more reference we can see. So guys, the Maharashtra will be using the drones to inspect the power lines, and this particular initiative is good on two particular fronts. First of all, up till now there needs to be the manual inspection of the power lines by using aids such as chairs and ladders, but many a times such manual inspections lead to electrocution of the staff and poses a great risk. Secondly, guys, due to the manual inspection, many a times the outages into the industrial areas take a lot of time to be identified, and many a times the technical fault are such that the regional teams are not even able to inspect them or to rectify it. In that particular way, the industrial areas faces a lot of problem. Now guys, because of the drone inspection, both of these problem will be solved. First of all, these drones will be fitted with the ultra high definition camera, and therefore there is no need of the manual inspection and the risk will be reduced. Secondly guys, these drones can inspect the large number of towers into the small time, because the manual climbing is not required and therefore time will be reduced. And if the rectification cannot be made by the regional office or by the local staff, then the video or the image into the real time can be transmitted to the head offices such as Mumbai, and there the technical team can assist them onto the real time basis. So guys, much more efficiency will be coming by such kind of initiative. So in our GS paper number 3, infrastructure has been mentioned, where the electricity infrastructure is the most important component. And if a question on that lines how to increase the efficiency comes, we can take the example of Maharashtra. So that's it. Now we'll move to next. Now, friends, we are into the science and tech page, and the first news will take from the snapshots. So, guys, here the solar orbiter has been mentioned, which is a joint collaborative project between the NASA of USA and the European Space Agency. So, guys, the solar orbiter is a 7-year mission which has just been launched in February 2020. Now, guys, there are a lot of mysteries associated with the sun, and to study them, this particular mission has been launched, and it will be focusing onto the magnetic environment of the sun. It will study the solar flares or the solar storms which protrude from the sun's surface. After that, it will study the changes that are coming onto the sun surface, and finally how the environment of sun impacts the environment of our solar system. Moreover guys, this particular project will also be trying to look into the coronal heating mystery, which has been perplexing the scientists for so long. Now, earlier, if you remember, on 2nd of June we had already discussed the coronal heating mystery. So if you want, you can refer to the 2nd June also. Now discussing the great coronal mystery. So guys, the common understanding is this: suppose there is a fire, and as you will go away from the fire, the temperature will decrease, you will not feel the warmth or the heat. And the same understanding prevails into the case of planet also. As you will move away from the surface of the earth, the temperature will decline. However, there are certain other conditions also, exceptions also, but right now we'll not be going into that aspect. Now guys, see, there are distinct parts of the sun. You can see here the corona. The corona is the outermost aura around the sun. Then there is the chromosphere, which is actually here, and then there is the photosphere, etc. Now guys, the common understanding is this, that this particular area should have the higher temperature, but in opposite, the higher temperatures can be observed onto the corona, and this particular thing is perplexing the scientist, that how it is possible, and thus this thing is called as the great coronal puzzle. And for this thing, a lot of explanations have also been given, but till now nothing actually concretely has been established. So in order to study the coronal mystery, the solar orbiter mission will also be working. Now, guys, this particular present news item has been mentioned because the solar orbiter mission has sent back certain images of the sun from the distance halfway between the earth and the sun. And this is the closest observation of the sun up to this particular time. And guys, the campfire like structures have been seen onto the sun's surface, and further the coronal heating will be studied by this particular project. So guys, this is all about the solar orbiter mission, the objectives, the mystery, and that's it. Now we'll move to next. Now guys, here we can see a development with respect to the earthquake coming into the Himalayan region, particularly near the Nepal. Now guys, first of all, we know into the geography that over the years, the Indian plate has striked the Eurasian plate, and a colliding plate boundary has been established between the Indian plate and the Eurasian plate. And as of this collision, the Himalayas have been born. And even today, the Indian plate is moving towards the Eurasian plate. So still Himalayas are rising. Now, guys, due to this complex interaction between two plates, there are large number of folds and bends beneath the surface of the earth. And guys, as we know that faults are mostly associated with the release of the earth's energy, and around the faults there are the prevalences of the earthquake. For example, San Andreas fault of the California, USA, you might have heard about it in geography. So now, friends, along the Himalayas also there are certain faults, but as where there is a limitation to peep into the surface of the earth, we have not identified these faults. And recently, what has happened? An oil and gas exploration company was studying the surface of the earth, so the structure of the earth, and it had found certain faults along the Nepal, due to which we can explain that why Nepal has experienced the earthquake. For example, in 2015, there was a devastating earthquake into the Nepal. Now going into the little bit of technicalities. So guys, during the time of oil and gas exploration, the data is generated and the seismic reflection data is generated. So guys, in seismic reflection data, the explosions are carried at some distances, and then these explosions are recorded by the help of a device which is called as the geophone. And friends, when we have such seismic reflection data, then we can create the seismic profile of the earth. Now, first of all, don't get scared by the name. See, seismic profile is nothing but a constructed slice like image of the earth's structure. Suppose I am having a cake and take out a slice of a cake, then there will be the structure of a cake which I can see. So similarly, we construct the image, and here by seeing the structure or the bending of the rock, we can identify if there is a fault or not. So such faults have been identified into the Nepal region, which is the region of the earthquake. Now a question comes that what could be the implications for the India. Now guys, see, the kind of this fault have been found towards the Nepal side, but we know whenever there is an earthquake, so the seismic waves are scattered in all the directions. So the populated regions around the India Nepal boundary and towards the foothills of the Himalayas, there could be certain problems, but as of now we don't know that what will be the actual impact. So guys, I believe that it is important for your exam, and I hope you have understood it. Now we'll move to next. Now, guys, this particular article talks about the deficiency of vitamin D into the people, particularly even into the India. Now, first of all, this article has ventured too much into the science behind the vitamin D, the chemistry and biology aspect. However, such type of things are not required for the UPSC exam. Therefore, we don't need to go into that particular dimension. But an important message we can derive from here. So, guys, first of all, this particular article says that vitamin D is a very essential part of our metabolism because it, first of all, maintains the right amount of calcium into the bones. Then it protects the cell membrane. After that, it also prevents the bones from becoming too brittle, and therefore also avoids the problem of osteoporosis. Moreover, it also helps in the prevention of the inflammation of the tissues and such tissue related problems. Now, guys, the vitamin D is formed into our body when the sunlight or artificial light in the ultraviolet region of 119 to 400 nm wavelength falls onto the skin. Because when such light will fall onto the skin, it will trigger a chemical reaction on a cholesterol based molecule, and further the vitamin D is synthesized into the body. Now guys, more deeper we need not to go. So basically the bottom line is that India is a sunshine abundant country because it is a tropical country, and therefore people should have abundance of the vitamin D into our bodies. But that is not true, because the empirical studies which have been carried had indicated that the population in North as well as South India have the lower level of vitamin D. So guys, this is one example, and on to the same lines we can see that there could have also been the deficiency of other vitamin also into the body. And as if there will be no proper vitamins and minerals, then how much food you may give, that food will not be synthesized into the body. And now we had seen that a large number of compassionate people had given the food. Even the state is giving the ration under the schemes such as the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana. But the appeal is being made here that until the vitamin security will also not be given, then there will be no proper synthesization, and the much needed immunity into the times of COVID-19 will not be built. Therefore, governments number one should consult the nutritionist as how the adequate vitamin deficiency in people could be rectified. Secondly, along with the ration, the food oriented towards the particular vitamins should also be given. And as schools are not open, the midday meal is also being suffered, so there should be alternative mechanism as how school children could also be given the nutrition. After that, there are Indian pharmaceutical companies who manufacture the vitamin D as well as other vitamin related tablets at a very affordable cost, so directly the tablets can also be infused to the people as well as student, so that proper synthesization of food as well as building of immunity can take place. So guys, that's all about this particular news, and now we'll move to next. Now, guys, here the concept of plea bargaining has been mentioned, which could be utilized in India with respect to making the judicial processes much more faster. Friends, we know that in India, if we take the number of the cases pending, then nearly 3.5 crore cases are pending across the different tiers of judiciary, according to the data given by the Union Law Ministry as well as the data given by the National Judicial Data Grid. Hence we can provide plea bargaining as a kind of a alternative here. Now guys, discussing the concept of plea bargaining, so it is very much prevalent into the western countries such as USA, where accused and the prosecutor come together on a negotiation table. Their accused accept a less serious kind of crime and accept some kind of a voluntary sentence or fine. So here the matter can be solved much amicably before burdening the judiciary and before taking the much complicated trials. And guys, in such a way the time of the judiciary and the resources will be saved. Moreover, this particular process also increases the conviction rate and therefore instills the confidence of the people into the judiciary. Now, guys, talking about the plea bargaining, so it was earlier suggested by the 142nd Law Commission report, and here it was said that it is a good initiative, but it was said that it should not be onto the lines of USA. In India, the accused should not be allowed to bargain with the prosecutor. Rather, accused should be allowed to bargain with the judge or the members of the judiciary. And onto these particular line, in 2006, the amendments were carried into the CRPC Act into the section 265A to 265L. And finally, the plea bargaining was introduced. And as of the provisions, the plea bargaining is allowed but into the limited circumstances. For example, it cannot be taken into the offenses where the penalty could be the death penalty, or it could be the life imprisonment or imprisonment more than 7 years, or the offenses where the socio-economic condition of country has been impacted. After that, guys, only accused can approach the court with respect to the provision of availing the plea bargaining with an affidavit that he understands that plea bargaining is a voluntary process and all the circumstances have been understood. Then guys, the plea bargaining could be ordered by the judge in camera hearing, and the satisfactory disposition of the case will be achieved by the prosecutor, the investigating officer, as well as by the accused. And guys, as a part of outcome, the compensation to a victim can also be allowed. Moreover, the sentence to the accused can also be given. And guys, the sentence depends either onto the minimum sentence or onto the maximum. So if a minimum sentence has been prescribed, then minimum 50% of that minimum is to be given, can be given. Or if minimum is not prescribed, then the one fourth of the maximum sentence could be given. However, it depends on to the case by case basis. So guys, this is the process. And now what are the pros and cons? So guys, first of all, Malimat committee onto the criminal justice reform had appreciated the plea bargaining and had said that it will be bringing much more benefit. For example, it will save the litigation and will save a large number of resources. Secondly, it will ensure the speedy trial. Thirdly, it will reduce the anxiety with respect to the trial. And fourthly, it will increase the conviction rate in India, and therefore the justice system will be improved. However, at the same time, guys, judiciary has shown certain concerns with respect to the plea bargaining. It has been said that it should be taken only after the regular course of justice has taken, because only onto the basis of merits of the case a person can claim the reduced sentences. And guys, if onto the first hand plea bargaining is taken, judiciary thinks that it is the violation of the due process of law, because it is more of a type of a settlement. Secondly, into the cases of a poverty, it has been seen that many a times people will even confess their crime when they have not done, just in a hope to attract some lesser punishment, and here also the justice will be ignored. So guys, this is are the kind of arguments in favor as well as against. So guys, we can expect a direct answer onto this also, or indirectly also we can use it. So guys, that's it, and now we'll move to next. Now, friends, here the Padmanabha Swami temple has been mentioned, onto which the Supreme Court recently gave the judgment with respect to the management rights. However, into this particular news item, the myths and the stories behind the temple has been mentioned, which is not important for the UPSC. But we have done the exam specific coverage onto the temple, the DT, the problem, the Supreme Court judgment, the violation of fundamental rights, etc., onto the 14th July newspaper discussion at this particular timestamp. So if you want, you can refer it. That's it, and now we'll move to the question section. Friends, please pause the video and try to answer the question. So question number 1 is with respect to the EcoSoc. Please identify the correct code. Now question number 2 is with respect to the APIDA. So please identify the correct code. Now guys, the question number 3 is with respect to the US India Strategic Energy Partnership. Please identify the correct code. Now, question number 4 is with respect to the Northeastern Council. Please read the statement and identify the correct code. So, friends, this is all about the MCQ, and today being Sunday, will not be having the question for the mains. So, friends, that's it. I hope you are liking our discussion. Thank you so much.